pretty sure it's possible.
We gotta figure it out.
Test 26 with the ball.
I lock them up because whenever they do
AJ Martina with the carry.
All right, we're going live.
Okay,
Tackle made by number 8, Felix NUDK.
It takes like 30 seconds.
Actually, I think it was maybe 6.
Josh now.
Felix is gonna get the
Second
ball.
down.
Talking to
and
the mics
9.
and see if you can.
Okay. We're testing out the mics right now.
Test. Hello. Test.
We will be with you shortly.
55 is small. He's not getting hammered in it.
concurrent viewer, one.
Josh is trying to make it too.
AJ Martina with the carry. Tackled by number 55, Rylan Feeney. Third down and 6.
There's one waiting. What does that mean?
Yeah, it says. I think it's still loading.
He took a pretty good pop there.
Knocked around there a little bit. He's good to go. He's back in.
Looks like Liberty's going to start off.
Not the best players on this. James
So
gets
they
Liberty
talk
last
to
year,
each other, the third
141-18.
down marker in the thing, or they
Right there. This is all
There's the guy
time
holding the
season
stick
stats. This is just the game stats.
location on the Lee Summit side. You can sort of go there.
Josh, whenever you get it going, fix the scoreboard.
Down 6.
Get it, Felix. Get it.
Felix and UDK!
I love that boy.
Come around the back side here.
You guys need to chalk that up, that our old Felix and DK on the field.
Very
Brings up 4 down and 10. Landon Willis deep for the Tigers.
Doesn't stop him. It's the man
You
is
didn't even mention that too. He
Who's
was
my
not
kicker,
ill
guys?
today. I mean, he was over
12.
Yeah, we got a lot. It's so much easier when you go to school.
Landon
You
Willis.
mention Ryan's blood clot. You can mention all.
Wow.
Now,
Everything
Kicker.
kick down the field.
Is it live for you?
Willis.
Here, I'll just.
Okay, refresh.
Think about those rugby style.
23-yard line we're going with.
You already
3rd and 10 for the Tigers from the 23-yard line.
Yeah, of course. That's a good question.
Here. I'll try to get this.
Test the mic.
Well, no.
Cut the transition there so that the current scoreboard is up. Because it's still the old school.
Touchdowns last year, 400 yards rushing, 3 TDs. Through some injuries the last few years.
Really talented guys surrounding him.
Darius going to keep it, run to the outside, turning the corner with the
Boy,
speed
Darius.
and has a first down. Good start for
Here is
his
Pearsall with the carry.
The quarterback, Darius
Force
Pearsall.
that down by number 28.
Nick
Ryan
Morse, good job on the
Levi.
outside there, picking up
That
2
play
people.
results in the Lee
The
Summit
guy comes in
Tigers!
motion, fakes the handoff, and does a good job of setting the outside there.
13-yard gain and a first down.
So it says it's live.
He played last year. Interesting game. It was close for 3 quarters. 19-18 Liberty led. Going to the 4th quarter, were outscored 25-0. They lost 33-19. Big plays in that 4th quarter by the Tigers. Up return, pick 6. This is their fastest guy, Micah Manning. Might be one of the fastest
Ball
guys in
carrier
the
is
entire
number
state of
5,
Missouri.
Micah Manning.
That's second in the 200. And
Tackled by number
all right,
38,
so
Ryan
another
Levi.
Lee Summit. First
That
down,
play
Micah
results in
Manning.
the Lee Summit Tigers!
Cut up field right there.
No, I just.
Does a good
I
job of
usually
following
this
his
game,
blockers and
so I put you on the right.
getting what he can upfield. But like you said, he's a guy that
Not live
can
for
stretch
me.
the field in all directions.
But the
Definitely he's got to be a guy that keys.
11 yards. This pass
To the account.
I will tweet out we're live.
and through our starting lineup. Once again,
We're not
brought
live.
to
I
you
just
by
pulled it up on
Concord
my
Career
phone.
College. You can start your healthcare career
Just
in
wait
months,
1
not
second.
years.
Okay.
You can find out more by visiting
Speaking
concord.edu.
to your mics. Jordan, speaking to your mic.
Hello. Test. Hello. Test.
Pearsall's pass is complete to number 13, Amari
You
Campbell.
see, yours is like really loud.
Tackle on the play by number 19, Parker Campbell. That play results in a Lee Summit Tiger!
I'll talk in the mic. Talking in the mic now. You talk louder.
Hello. Test.
Hello. Test.
Turn yours
First
down.
down for Lee Summit.
Move the chains down the field on the
We're
first
too
drive.
quiet there.
Big chunks by the Tigers.
I'm at max.
I like your
Scrimmage just outside the 30-yard line.
graphic.
Quarterback in trouble, and he's going to be sacked after the
52.
30-yard line.
Sack on the play, the number 52, Matthew Jennings.
Inspired their strong offensive line, but also
right,
plays on
please.
the defensive line. And some help here as well.
Second down and
Guys in the
17.
backfield there. Not sure if there was some confusion up front.
Hello, test. Hello. Test, 1, 2, test.
3-year starter, college prospect, Weston, the linebacker. A pace to become the all-time leading tackler.
Thank you, Richard.
Nice.
All right, the tweet is
Now starting
here's
with
how
Tigers.
the compare audio is, okay?
Test. Hello, test.
Be a
Hello,
5-yard
test.
penalty.
I'll just have to speak a little louder, okay? You ready to go?
Still not really anybody got Chris fans.
I know.
They moved down the field. Thomas.
I'm just gonna sit.
Second down and 22.
Tempo on the
Hello.
offense. The first 5 or 6 plays,
Hey,
they were able to do that in his last 2.
Hello and welcome back to fifth quarter live stream. We missed the first 2 sessions by the Tigers and the Blue Jays. That's
Two-ball
okay.
pass caught by number 1,
Tigers
Mason
on
Willett.
the 23-yard line. Got all
Did you
that
tell your dad that?
thanks in part to a 10-yard run from Darius Pearsall.
Third down and 20.
A massive help.
Get that ball carried down. Does a good job of going low there and limiting the big play.
Tigers won the last matchup between the Jays and Lee Summit at Liberty last year.
Give it off on the jet sweep.
It's going to be
Ryan
a
Bell
successful
with the
yard.
carry.
It looks like they're going to.
Tackle is made by number 40, Michael Quigley.
Ryan Belt on the carry there. Fourth down and 17 for the Tigers.
Fourth
We'll
down
see
and
the
17.
kicking unit come on out. And they'll give it off to the Blue Jays.
Ninth year, Liberty lifer, Chance Freegon, his 25th year at the school.
Next time we go.
All-time assistant for Dan Anderson, Pat Hansen, and Joel Wells. And his 9th year as the head coach.
He's got to be happy with his defense.
And
He's up
punches
there.
away.
Staying
Looks like
there.
it's going to be
Very
a fair catch.
10-yard
It
line.
appears to be the Jays on 26.
First down for the Blue Jays for the 9-yard line.
Usually, we play. 40 seconds in this play would stop.
Jordan, the Jays had no offensive success. Is this Lord? Do we just want to. Do we need a copy or? Jordan, the Jays had no offensive success last drive. It looked like their offensive line just melted in the eyes of Felix Anudike and Michael Garozzo.
Resulted in a punt, their last possession. So we'll see if they get things into gear here. Second try at it.
Well, it's weird because last year they were definitely a first half team, scoring almost all their points in the first half. Just
They scored
completely
19 points the first half and were scoreless, beaten 25-0 in the second half after that big Tigers blowout last year.
not what you want to see, especially in high school football where you need to play all fourth quarters in every sport for that matter.
There was an official's timeout for Wolverine.
Basically, give the man a microphone. You want to sit here? Why do you sit here?
I have to be in the.
Here, I can do the camera if you want to sit here.
I think I got it.
Smith in the shotgun here.
You just want to leave.
Uh,
Like, just leave us alone.
It's going to be a 3-yard gain for the Blue Jays.
Tackle by
The
number
Blue Jays
12,
came in here with
Miller.
a little bit of quarterback confusion, as they had 5 vying for the position. Ultimately, Luke Smith getting the job. Senior last year graduated. In this game, he threw 2 interceptions, which is both in the second half, which contributed to the Tigers' win. And they're going to need to rectify that tonight. All right, Smith is back.
Freshman, 6th place.
Audible at the line.
Athlete.
Nice ball is a low snap. He's able to get it off. He's going to run for the first down. It's be good. The Blue Jays' first down of the night. It's good to see them get the ball rolling, of course, but they're going to need to do a lot more of that if they expect to have a chance in this game.
Running back starts to be able to give that ball a clean handoff, so he just tucks it and gets up the field. 13 right there. First down.
As a coach, you love to see your quarterback off a botched play, not the best snap from their center, and make something out of it. All right, he takes the snap, throws it out, and is stopped 3 yards short of the first down. It looks like they're moving the ball a little bit better.
Catch there by Javion Byers.
The tackle was Tyler Mitchell.
Second down, 3.
2nd and 3 for the Jays. Still early in the game here. 5:23 to go in the first.
He's got room to run. Taken down. Ultimately, the help of Landon Willis. And Alexander
Tackled by 19, Alexander Barnett.
Ball on the Lee Summit 44-yard line. Blue Jays with a new set of downs.
I can't see.
And a fumble. Ball picked up by Matthew Lawson.
Tigers are looking for an intentional grounding there. They're not going to get it, or a fumble.
On the play by number 4, Kaya Trevino.
Kai Espino made the sack.
Kaya not known for his defensive ability, but showing us he's got it in the bag here as he's going to make it 2nd and 19 for the Blue Jays.
Motion that Liberty does, what it kind of does is it freezes that Lee Summit pass rush a little bit.
Once again, Smith in the shotgun. 2nd and 19. Rush coming. He's going to throw it away. And a good catch and run there by Michael Quigley.
It looks like he stepped out of bounds a little bit before where the original 10 yards. So it looks like they're still going to have 12 yards to go on this 3rd down.
Job's not done just yet, despite the big gain there. So we'll see 3rd and 13 for the Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays really have no response with the offensive lineman, and specific to Matthew Lawson. Just can't seem to get Felix to be contained. Felix just swims right around him.
That time the pressure coming from senior Michael Garozzo.
The loud crowd for Liberty trying to get themselves
going to be
into
called
it
by the Blue Jays. Well, we'll see if the Blue Jays are able to produce another big play like they did in their last drive.
Haven't had much success in the air yet, but then again, they haven't really attempted it.
Nope.
Not a lot of senior wideouts on the Jays team.
And
They're a very young team.
It's hard to go to the air with Garozzo and NUDK on the other side of the ball.
Especially when Willis is in the safety position. It's hard to get over him. He's a very fast man.
Got a lot of speed all over the field and a lot of pressure whenever they try to put the ball up in the air. Last year, a little bit of a point of weakness in the Tigers game was their pass defense. It seems the left side was targeted a lot last year, and correctly so by the other team.
Tigers have a starting senior. Never started in a varsity game before, Jackson Fry. And that's corner, so we'll see if he can knock down the air.
Third and 13. Smith rolls out. Pressure from NUDK. He's going to throw it downfield. And a great catch by Wintrick Williams III. And he's going to go and a fumble in the end zone. But it's recovered by the Blue Jays. That looked like Javion Byers recovering it in the end zone, and referees confirm it is a touchdown for the Blue Jays. So 6-0 with 4 minutes to go here in the first quarter. And they did indeed get another big play that they were looking for there. So the field goal unit will come out onto the field. Kick is up, and it is good. So 7-0 Blue Jays. And they'll go ahead and kick off here. See if the Tigers can answer back, maybe get a quick score in before the end of the first.
Liberty early on here has really taken the loud crowd out of it. I haven't heard much of anything from that side of the field at all.
Hearing a lot of noise over on the Blue Jays side of things. Great heads-up play by Javion Byers there in the end zone to pick it up. The 6'2" wideout.
Michael Grozzo almost stripped it away, but alas, to no avail.
So once again, we'll see the special teams units come out from both teams. And we'll see if the Tigers can be as resilient as they were last year to going down to this Blue Jays team. New electronic ball markers you'll see on the side of the field this year. A little easier for everyone to see where the ball's at. Kicker for the Blue Jays will be number 81, Caden Rodjacob. 6'1" kicker, his senior year. That'll be Nate Morse on the return. And he'll be wrapped up and brought down just before the 20-yard line. So not great field position for the Tigers to start out their return. We'll see if the offense can make a better attempt at it this time around.
They were doing pretty good in their first drive. Darius was able to get the ball running on one play, get it to Ryan Belt on another, and Micah Manning got a couple rushes in there. So
a little early momentum, but stopped just short there at the 30-yard line in their last drive.
Darius is going to take the snap. Hands it off.
Pearsall hands it off. Looked like Micah Manning on the run. He'll go straight up the gut.
Micah Manning with the carries. Tackled by Joe Barnes.
Not a huge gain on the play, just a yard. So we'll see the Tigers reset things at 2nd and 9.
Down and long.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the little tight.
And a big run for Tupino up the middle. We'll get a first down there. Kai Tupino, a big two-sport star. Both a varsity goalkeeper for Lee Summit and a running back, quarterback, kicker, and just about anything else the Tigers need out of him on the football side of things. Snap for Pearsall, who handed off to Tupino again. Goes to the left side, but brought down quickly once more. Tackle made by Matthew Henney there. 5'11" junior. Plays both fullback and D-end for the Liberty Blue Jays. Ryan Belt suffered a little adversity this summer. A blood clot under his rib. We'll see him come out onto the field here. Pearsall throws a screen pass to Micah Manning. He's got space on the left side, and he will be just short of the first down. The Tigers here going to reset, try to get this first down. Referee signaling they are going to move the chains. So now Pearsall, the lone man, back in the shotgun. Quick pass, dropped by Micah Manning. just short of the 50-yard line. So it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Tigers as they reset here. Micah Manning, another two-sport star. Big track guy.
Got 2nd in the 200-meter last year at state.
A lot of speed out of that.
Probably
Lee
the
Summit High School
fastest
back
man
here.
on the football field for the state of Missouri.
Snap. Pearsall will hand it off to Manning, who was again wrapped up very quickly there. Number 78 on the tackle. That will be Matthew Lawson.
I don't know what the play call was there. They've been running up the gut and finding no success.
So we'll see how the Tigers attack the Blue Jays here on 3rd and 9. 41-yard line. Still a long ways to go, but maybe getting here into field goal position on this end of this drive. At least put up some points on the goal here. That's your goal if you're the Tigers. Pearsall and Tapino in the backfield. Pearsall will play action, throw to Morse. Dropped and nearly picked off. Number 19, Parker Campbell. So it'll be 4th and 9, and the Tigers will call on Kaya Tapino to punt. Liberty covers Nate Morse there well. Morse, another very fast guy for the Tigers. Small, slippery, very similar to Tyreek Hill here for Lee Summit.
Very slippery.
Snap, Tapino with the punt. Up in the air, that's number 28, Ryan Olivas.
Gonna trickle a couple, maybe 8 yards.
Picked up by the
Good
Tigers.
kick by Tapino.
Jackson Fry there on the pickup. So if the Tigers can force a quick stop here, their offense will have great position to try to put some points up on the board of their own. Still 7-0 Blue Jays here as we wind down to 1:46 in the first quarter. So Luke Smith will try to get the Blue Jays here out of the Tigers. Matthew Henning running out onto the field. There's the snap. Campbell's going to run the option. And he'll be brought down there after about a 5-yard gain.
Power lead there. Job up front.
I know.
2nd and 3, 7-yard pickup on the option there by Luke Campbell.
A lot further down the field.
Senior year for Campbell, or junior year rather, for Campbell. Here's the snap. And he'll bust it up the gut there for a first down.
They push. Number 73, Trey Hill. Or, excuse me, Trey Wee for the Tigers, all the way back, probably 10 yards. That's not what you want to see off the snap.
Good job.
So we see Campbell and Wintrick Williams III. Backfield.
They're swinging outside for what almost looks like.
But a good play by the Tigers on the defensive end to wrap them up.
Holding on offense.
Flag down.
It'll be holding on offense.
Summit does a good job of stretching this play out.
Caleb Dennis there on the run. Holding on the Blue Jays. So we'll replay first down, and the Blue Jays have a 1st and 15. Correction, it'll be 1st and 23 rather than 1st and 15. Campbell comes back. He looks down the field. That's going to be picked off by the Tigers. Thomas Smith with the interception. Junior Thomas Smith with a big pick at the 40-yard line. We've got referees pointing in opposite directions, and the Blue Jays came down with it at the 40-yard line.
Not sure how you make that call, Jordan. was clearly in Thomas's hands as he went to the ground.
That's what
Referee
it
sees
appeared to
something
be
different.
from our vantage point. Apparently he lost it in the air. Thomas Smith, number 21, his junior year.
It's going to be one of the
His
times.
freshman year. But he's bounced back clearly here, starting varsity corner. Little fumble in the backfield, and Campbell is going to be wrapped up by Rylan Fiend.
Now, we've seen them do this before. Liberty often gets sacked or has a penalty early on. But they always seem to be able to pitch it out right or make a long throw, as we just saw 2 in a row.
Well, and
Just drive
we've
along.
seen 3 long plays save them late in a possession in which the Tigers have had success on the defensive end. That's going to be the end of the first quarter there, so we'll switch sides and go back at it. The Tigers have had success on the defensive end, but always seem to lose it there on that 3rd down. We'll see if they can hold things together this time around. 2nd and 18 will be the hill to climb for the Liberty Blue Jays as we repeat things here starting the second quarter. 7-0 Blue Jays still, so a lot of time for the Tigers. Well, and Kyle, speaking of the new secondary, we saw it break down a few times late in the game last year. How do you think it's holding up so far? We just saw that big play off the corner there. Thomas Smith nearly with an interception, not able to hold on to it. How do you think they're doing so far?
You know, all things considered, I would say they're not doing the best, but it could be a lot worse. I would like to see a lot more play action from the corners. It seems like the safeties are doing their job at stopping the touchdown.
2nd and 18, Campbell steps back, throws it out to the flat. That's going to be number 18, Michael Book.
Tackle made by Jackson Fry, the starting senior on the left side of the field. He's able to wrap him up for, appears to be 10 more yards to go on 3rd down.
So we'll go to 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11. Back to the original. Winchuk Williams, the 3rd, and Campbell in the backfield. Handoff goes to Williams. He'll be wrapped up on the right-hand side by a couple of Tigers. So not a big enough run there to get him into field goal position, I wouldn't guess.
There was nowhere to go with that one. Tigers looked like they were coming in on all sides, especially the middle. Just couldn't react fast enough. And the Jays will bring out the punting unit.
4th and 9. It'll be Ethan Brown on the punt for the Blue Jays.
Landon Willis returning the punt.
Landon, another speedy senior on the Tigers side of things. A kick return touchdown in the Liberty meeting last year. Ball's up in the air. He's going to field it, and he'll make a run at it, and a decent attempt there for what he had to work with. Not a lot of coverage, but he's going to get it up the gut there and get about a 10-15 yard gain. So we'll see the Tigers take over things in Blue Jay territory, try to get it across the 50 and maybe even put a few points up on the board. 10:31 to go in the second quarter. Still 7-0 Blue Jays. Kyle, we've asked you about the defense. How's the offense looking so far?
The offense isn't looking too bad. We got a lot of weapons, though, on offense. I'd say that's the stronger side of the ball. I just would like to see a lot more passing. Ryan Belt hasn't got near the touches he should be getting for being the leading receiver last year. Let's see if they can feed him the ball. But
Snap
like
goes to Pearsall. A little play action there. It's going to be Micah Manning on the outside, and he'll be wrapped up at about the 34-yard line.
Tackled by 45, Jackson White.
So a big run there for Manning.
not quite enough to move the chains, but
Wrapped up at the 31-yard line, pardon. So 2nd and 1 will be the total for the Tigers. The magic number they need to hit here. We'll pause in the action. Referees seem to have cleared up what they want to do. 28-9 for the Blue Jays, going to be switching sides of the field. The snap for Pearsall. He's going to hand it off to Manning again, who goes to the left side this time. He's going to have enough for the first and then some, as he's going to get pushed out of bounds at about the 36.
You're welcome.
I was returning one of the gates.
Thank you.
Don't kill him.
Yeah. That's okay. You go ahead and kill him. Thank you.
Mike and Mandy with the carry. Play results in the Leaf Summit Tigers.
Yeah. Bodies in Missouri than there is in Kansas. So.
They're trying to utilize him as much as they can. Trying to utilize that.
Darius Pearsall once again in the backfield with Kaya Tipino. The snap, Pearsall play action, going to throw it over to Ryan Belt. Belt's going to have enough for the first on the left side and be pushed out of bounds at the Tigers' 49-yard line. So there's Ryan Belt's first touch of the game. Kyle, why don't you tell him a little bit about what Ryan went through this offseason?
Well, early May, I believe May 5th exactly, was the date that Ryan noticed something wrong with his arm. Turned out to be a blood clot in a subclavian vein. He's down blood thunders all summer, missed all of summer practice, but he's back
Meanwhile,
now.
a big throw from Pearsall is going to be picked off. Ryan Olivas, we said his name earlier, we'll say it again, a big interception, but a flag is down on the play where the ball was picked off. Referees will confer.
The early signal was offensive pass interference on the Tigers. We'll see if that stands.
And it's going to be a face mask. A face mask on the Tigers.
Calls face mask against the Tigers. The first and 10 game.
As soon as they get some momentum, the Tigers seem to get the wind taken out of them. Hopefully they can regain that here, but it's going to be tough as the Liberty Jays seem to have a lot of weapons on their new and young offense.
So once again, we'll see Luke Campbell take over the game here, the quarterback for the Blue Jays, having a good game so far. In the backfield once again with Williams III. 7-0 Jays, 9:53 left in the second quarter. Sun setting here in Lee Summit. The snap, handoff to Williams III. He's going to go around the left side. Nearly wrapped up. He's going to keep running and be tackled at about the 37-yard line. Looked like Kaya Tupino on the tackle.
Interesting not to see Felix. Interesting not to see Felix out there.
Felix Anudike, number 8 for the Tigers, big-time defensive lineman. Been sick the last couple days. Came out with a big sack, the first Blue Jays offensive possession. Haven't seen him on the field since then.
Yeah, these guys like coming out and somebody in different colored jersey. They're so used to scrimmaging against each other.
Luke Campbell.
So much fun for these guys.
The snap. He's going to throw it downfield, targeting that left side. And it's going to be broken up there. Looked like Jackson Fry. So great coverage by the senior.
Not sure if that's by design, but that's coverage by number 23.
I didn't think Jackson was able to get his head around, but he did so and stuck his hand right in the path of the ball. That was a good play by Jackson, especially for his first year starting varsity.
Blake Fortis there, the target. 6'1" senior wide receiver and defensive back for the Jays. Not able to hold onto the ball there. Jackson Fry right in his face, able to stop the pass from being completed. Big chance from the Lee Summit Tigers student section. The snap and the handoff to Williams III. He's going to go up the middle, but he's stopped very quickly by Tyler Terrence. So a big time stop for the Tigers. It's going to be 4th down and 4.
That's exactly what you want to see if you're the Tigers, coming off several unsuccessful possessions, especially one where you thought you had the interception towards the end of the first half. But
we'll see the Liberty Blue Jays punting team come out once again. Punter will be number 12, Ethan Brown. The snap. And the punt will be to Landon Willis. A little bit of a rugby punt there. Willis picks it up. He's going to scramble back and go out to the left-hand side. Several flags thrown down.
Landon Willis with the carry, forced out by number 9, Corell Simpson.
Number 9, Corell Simpson, rather, forcing him out of bounds.
out, man. Those guys across their face. You can't do that.
The Tigers, 8:13 left here in the second. Offense will take over once again here in Blue Jays territory. They're going to try to push back in this one, down 7-0 here in the first quarter, or in the second quarter rather. The touchdown coming from a fumble picked up in the end zone. A fumble by the Blue Jays offense, recovered by the Blue Jays offense. The snap to Pearsall, double fake, and the ball carrier looks like Micah Manning, still going to be brought down in the backfield. And a big loss for the Tigers to start their offensive possession. So it'll be 2nd and 12.
Impressed with the Liberty defense.
They've done a really good job of keeping this Lee Summit off there.
If you're the Tigers, you really want to try to equalize things here before you go into halftime. A late touchdown here in the second would do big things going into halftime. Pass is going to go over to the right side there. Landon Willis was the intended receiver. It's going to go incomplete, falling right in between his hands there as he tries to make a diving catch. That'll make it 3rd and 12 for the Tigers.
Darius looked to rush that throw. Wasn't getting any pressure from any side, but he did throw it out in front of Willis. It's a little disappointing.
And this
Definitely
is
had some room to run there.
Something we've seen from the Tigers' offense is they seem to have one guy they like to go to on every play, which makes things difficult when they're not ready for the ball or if they're covered up well. That leads to the interceptions like we saw in the last possession. Again, Pearsall with the ball. He's going to throw it downfield. Intended receiver Nate Morse is going to grab it at the 43 and be wrestled down. So Nate Morse, the junior, getting some varsity minutes here. He's going to catch the ball for a big-time Tigers first down as they look to score here before the end of the first half.
Nate Morse isn't a particularly big guy, just 5'7"
Snap,
with
and
155
there's going to be
pounds.
a flag down. Tigers tried to run a little hurry up there. And they'll be told to walk back a little further. False start on the Tigers. So it'll be 1st and 15. Tigers starting their offensive restart here. New set of downs at the 38-yard line. 5 targets for Pearsall. Snap, he's going to throw it over to the left-hand side. A great catch there in traffic by Trent Fell. He'll be wrestled down at about the 40-yard line. 2 guys draped all over Fell, and again, that's where you see that Tiger style of turning and throwing to just one guy without looking for anybody else.
I don't really like that pass. Fell was covered up by 2.
Do you think him throwing that ball to Fell, do you think that's by play design or by he just saw him and thought he was open?
I assume that is by just Darius wanting to throw to the most open receiver. I hope it's not by play design, because if it is, the Tigers are going to have a problem not only in this game but also later in the season.
And while we were talking there, Landon Willis on the run, not getting far. The Tigers like to play that quick hurry-up style offense, maybe trying to catch the defense off guard, but a couple times it's caught the Tigers off guard in the past, and once this game, they've gotten called for an offensive false start. Pearsall and Tupino in the backfield. The snap, handoff goes to Kaya. He's going to run it up the middle there, and he won't get what he needs. So we'll have to see the punting unit come out. I don't love the play call there on 3rd and 7.
You know, I absolutely don't. They've been running it up the gut all day, haven't had near the success that they should be having. And then to just give it to Kaya on a 3rd and 8, you'd think they'd have a pass, maybe a screen to Ryan Belt or Nate Morse for that matter. Either of those plays, in my opinion, would have been much more successful than run up the middle. But I'm not the coach for the Tigers.
And we've seen Kaya's versatility a couple times. We'll see it again here, punting for the Tigers. It'll be Williams III catching the ball. Fair catch at about the 21-yard line.
Still, you see the Tigers, they get a couple big plays on offense, then they just stall out. Do you think that's due to play call, or do you think that's just due to the Tigers not being able to make the plays?
Well, we've seen it with the last couple quarterbacks the Tigers have had. They like to try a couple other options at quarterback, even when Darius is having an off night. And every single quarterback seems to have that same style of play where they turn and throw it to somebody without really looking. I think that it's by play call. I think that there needs to be a little more freedom at the quarterback position. Something that you see at the higher levels.
And Eric Thomas isn't unused to having D1 quarterbacks there. It's just the fourth in his 10 years at Lee Summit High School. So you think with that experience behind his belt, he could be able to produce some better play calls, but still seems to be stuck in his ways. They might try out Tommy Locke here. He was very successful in the Jamboree just a week ago.
And if the name Locke sounds familiar, it's because it is. Drew Locke, the LSHS alumni, his cousin, Tommy Locke, is a player for the Tigers, a backup quarterback. Luke Campbell takes over once again. The snap, he'll hand it off to Williams III, goes on the right side, and well, I thought he went down, but he keeps on going. He's going to get the first for the Blue Jays. So with 5:23 here, the Blue Jays don't quite look done. They may want to get another score up on the board here before we switch things over at halftime.
That's just the result you're going to get if you don't have Felix and put Lawan Miller in instead of Felix. Felix hasn't been feeling good all day, taken out after the sack, and it's definitely hurting the Tigers here when they can't wrap up and just make a tackle, which should be pretty simple.
We'll see number 6, Lawan Miller, run out onto the field. A junior.
Winter plays with carry. Tackle made by number 86.
Tackled there by 86, Max Weisner. Weisner, another two-player athlete, a sophomore. He's a center for the Lee Summit Tigers basketball team. Big, tall guy. 6'5", 6'6". Seems to vary depending on the sport he plays, what they call him.
Also plays tight end on offense for the Tigers. Haven't seen him out there tonight, though.
It'll be Luke Campbell once again with Williams III in the backfield. Play action will roll out to his right. A lot of pressure. He's going to throw it to the right side. Throws it away. Great catch on the sideline by a Tigers assistant coach there. Unfortunately, that doesn't do anything for the Blue Jays. And they'll be looking at 3rd and 10. So 3rd and 10, the Tigers defense looks for a stop. 4:15 to go here in the second quarter. 7-0 Blue Jays still. No scores since that first quarter touchdown for the Blue Jays. Campbell's going to scramble, and he will be tackled after about a 5-yard gain there by the Tigers. Luke Smith, rather, not Campbell. Fourth and 5. We'll see the speedy Landon Willis once again waiting to receive a punt. We've talked about it before. The Tigers had a big win last year in Liberty. Landon Willis was a part of it with a punt return touchdown in that game. We'll see here what he can do with this punt. Referees will stop the action here. A timeout taken by the Tigers. And Eric Thomas will come out and talk to his guys.
They got 3:37 left. The last time in the first quarter they had 4 minutes, took 2 minutes off, and ultimately resorted in a 3-and-out.
Kyle, what do you think we'll see here from the Tigers coaching staff? What sort of play calling are we going to see here to get this touchdown with only 3:37 left? You obviously want to see them tie it up, if not get a field goal up. We're going to see the passing, the offense.
They can't run it up the middle as much because of the time. I'd hope to see a couple screen passes, maybe even a quick slant route to Ryan Bell or Nate Morse. Michael Manning and Landon Willis also options as well.
The Blue Jays line has been brutal to this point, stopping the Tigers' run game. And once again, we'll see Ethan Brown punt it away. And it'll be out of bounds, but a flag on the play. Looks like it'll be roughing the kicker. And it will be.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker. First and 10 for the Blue Jays.
Snap high, so you might have an opportunity for the ball, but you got to find your partner.
That's just killer to see. You finally get some momentum. You get a good stop by your defense, and then have a stupid penalty, which should really never happen. Give the Blue Jays another chance, in which could have been your 7 points now. Looks to be the Jays' 7 points to seize. We'll see if they can do it, though. Didn't have much success last drive, but they're going to be in much better position.
So a careless mistake by the Tigers leads to another Blue Jays offensive possession. So now instead of trying to put 7 points up on the board of your own, you're trying to stop the Blue Jays from adding 3, 6, 7, or 8 of their own. Snap will be to Smith. He's going to hand it off, and very quickly wrapped up in the backfield there. Looked like Lawan Miller and Kaya Tupino. The Tigers, one thing they do have going for them if the secondary is off is the pass rush or the ability to stop the run game. That's been pretty consistent the last couple of years. Still no Felix Anudike on the field. You wonder if maybe he suffered an injury or if the sickness is still bothering him. Pass will go over to the left side there. That'll be the fullback for the Blue Jays, Michael Quigley. Pushed out of bounds by Jackson Fry. 3rd and 4 for the Jays.
This is a critical stop for the Tigers. If they can get this still 2:49 left, maybe get some field goal or even a touchdown of their own.
Tigers on the defensive end have looked pretty sound this possession. The snap will go to Williams III, tries to run it up the middle, and I believe he's going to be short of the first down, and it doesn't look like they'll be in field goal position here.
Looks like they're going to go for it, though, only 4th and 1. With the success they've been having running it up the gut, I believe they'll be able to convert this with ease.
Luke Smith under center. He's going to try to bulldoze it through. It's going to be close here. The referee is going to try to call it.
I think the Tigers got the stop. Tigers celebrating, loud crowd cheering.
And Tigers fans cheering. They did not get the first down. Tigers will be back on offense with 2:18 rather to go here in the first half as the Tigers look to climb back from a 7-0 deficit here.
That was Jackson Fry coming around the outside to tear the quarterback off the offensive lineman and into the ground. Worked fairly well.
Referees
They're definitely going to need to measure it, though.
Still trying to decide here if it's a first down or not. They're going to bring the chains out. And it looks like the Blue Jays are going to be short. So the Tigers will have another go at things, 2:18 in the first half. The one thing that's been looming over the Tigers' heads so far has been turnovers, so we'll see if Pearsall can keep the ball in the Tigers' hands and try to get things, try to get maybe some points up on the scoreboard.
Definitely a lucky opportunity they have after almost blundering it with a pass interference or a, personal foul call on rushing the pass.
So it'll be Pearsall and Manning in the backfield. Here's the snap. Pearsall steps back. A little pressure there. He's going to roll out to his left. Looks to the left side, and he'll be hit hard as he tries to make the catch there. Jacob Moracek there was the intended target. Another two-sport guy for the Tigers, baseball and football. Moracek not able to get up high enough for that one, and he's going to be just pushed away.
Jordan, Darius did exactly what you said he would. He only looked to the right side of the field, and when nothing was happening there, he felt the pressure of the left.
Does a good job there to roll away to that left-hand side. A little bit of improvisation. Nearly works out, just a little too high there while under pressure. All things considered, while on the run there, that's a heck of a throw by Pearsall. Snap goes to Pearsall, a little trouble getting it. Looks downfield, and he's going to run with it. And he gets out of bounds. Not a huge gain, but he will pick up about a yard.
Could have been really dangerous. A low snap, Darius was able to recover. And
so we'll see.
To get 2 yards out of it is very impressive for Pearsall.
Tigers 2 minutes and 4 seconds to go. 7-0 Jays here still in the first half. Not a lot of time left as the Tigers try to put some scores up on the board before we go to our break. Pearsall and Manning in the backfield still. The snap goes to Pearsall. It's going to look over to Manning, a little shovel pass. Landon Willis, rather, is going to run all the way. Did he get the first down? He tried to put the ball over the first down marker. And I believe the referees will call him just about a yard short.
Tackle by number 9.
Question now for the Tigers, will they go for it? Or are they going to punt it away? Pearsall stays on the field. And it's looking like with not much time here, 1:35 in the clock running, they may go for it. And they will. We'll see a couple players changing spots. We'll see Kaya Tupino here run out onto the field. I wouldn't be surprised to see her run up the middle.
Tupino's a big guy. He can bulldoze almost anyone on that D-line.
The handoff goes to Tupino. He's going to have plenty, and he's still going. He's going to get it past the Tigers' 50-yard line. But now time becomes a concern with only 1:09 left. The quest for a touchdown continues, and the Tigers will call timeout. Kyle, now we're seeing a little bit of resiliency from this Tiger offense as they look to climb back from 7-0 down.
Play was able to stay alive thanks to a good run by Landon Willis. So.
A big run by Landon Willis made that play possible. And Tupino just bulldozes his way up through the middle. An excellent goalkeeper, but skipped out on the soccer game tonight to be here for the Tigers' first football game. The Tigers won their first soccer game, and they'll look to win their first football game as well. A little bit of adversity here to start the game. Question is, can they come back? 1st and 10 for the Tigers on the Jays' 47. Pearsall throws it downfield. It's going to be Micah Manning in a ton of space. He'll get it inside the 20-yard line.
Little celebration after this play by Manning.
A little bit of showmanship there. That's got to feel good. And the Tigers now, with 1 minute and 4 seconds left, will have another new set of downs. And they're knocking on red zone's door. Snap again to Pearsall. He's going to throw it over to the left-hand side. It's going to be Manning again. He's got his foot wrapped up, and he's not going to get much out of the play there, if anything. So a big play, then the hurry-up offense, and we'll see 56.4 on the clock. Timeout for the Tigers. They'll try to stop the clock here. It is 7-0 Blue Jays, as the Tigers are now, would you say, in field goal position, Kyle?
I would say so. Jacob Moracek made one from about 41 yards out. I believe that was his longest one of the season last year, so it looks like they're just riding that line. Maybe a little bit older, maybe a little bit younger. But
and the Tigers here, looks like they're setting up shop at about the 26-yard line. Pretty well. It'll be Pearsall and Tupino in the backfield. Here's going to be the snap to Pearsall. A step back, it's going to be a pass. Pearsall looks to that left-hand side. He's going to roll out, throw it downfield, and instead he'll just throw it away.
smart play by Pearsall to throw that away. Nothing was happening, and he was getting pressure from all sides.
So the Tigers, 3rd and 10, may have to call on that punting, or on the kicking unit rather. Try to put at least 3 up on the board here before we switch over for halftime. 49.3 on the clock for the Tigers. Pearsall and Tupino once again. Snap a little low. He's not going to have a ton of time. Pressure getting to him, and he's going to be wrapped up and sacked in the backfield. So a big tackle for the Blue Jays. Tackle there by Matthew Hemming, and they're going to go for it on 4th. Pearsall steps back, throws it downfield. He'll overthrow his target, and instead of going for the field goal, the Tigers will get nothing. So it's 1st and 10 Blue Jays on the Lee Summit Tigers 30-yard line.
It's a tough way to end the possession, but they did show a lot of fight back. They were able to move the ball down the field, and it is promising to see the offense finally get a little something, even though the points don't reflect it on the scoreboard.
And despite the offensive promise, we still got time on the clock, so the defense has to hold their own for 25 more seconds, as the Tigers don't want to give themselves any more of a hill to climb out of here going into the second half. Last year, the offense for the Tigers was able to put up a few points. They'll go ahead and kneel and try to run out the clock here for the half. And that's where things will end. A 20-minute halftime. In the second half, the Tigers will try to come back here. Big question on everybody's mind, will they be able to do it? Felix Anudike has been absent from the defense despite the first possession. Illness has gotten to him these last couple days. And we'll go ahead and go to a break. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Lee Summit home football opener against the Liberty Blue Jays. If you've missed any of the first half, I'm Jordan Wood, joined in the studio by Kyle Cumberland. Kyle, we've seen a sluggish first half Tigers. Is this first game jitters, or are they just off to a slow start?
I would say they're off to a slow start. The defense, despite losing Tyler Perry and Austin Spencer last year, has actually looked pretty good. Holding only the Jays to 7 points is fairly impressive, but I would like to see more offensive firepower. They seem to get a couple plays here and there. There's really no passing through the air. I want to see Ryan Belt get involved in this game. Last year against the Jays, Ryan Belt had 85 yards and a touchdown. So almost no yards tonight, still not a touchdown. Hardly any impressive stats for the Tigers. So definitely want to see the passing game improved. Micah Manning, Ryan Belt, Landon Willis, all those guys more involved. And if they can do that, I would expect to see maybe 3 touchdowns this half. I don't know if that's a bit too unrealistic, but I think it's a possibility.
The Tigers had a big second half last year, the main reason why they won the game. It was 19-18 at the half. They won that game by a stunning 45-19 total score.
It'll be interesting here to see if the Jays fall apart like they did last year, especially in the fourth quarter, just giving up points like it was nothing.
Obviously 2 different teams this year that we're seeing. No points put up by the Tigers, who have once again taken the field. 46 seconds left before we resume play here in Bud Herzog Stadium.
Hopefully Felix Anudike will see a return on the defense as Lawan Miller has been filling in. Lawan hasn't done a bad job by any means, but it would be nice to see Felix finally come back in because the difference he makes on the football field is immeasurable. The pressure he provides, it's really something else. So with him on the field, it's a different game for the Tigers and their defense.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. Miller not doing a bad job filling in, but there's a different atmosphere out of the Tigers defense when Anudike is on the field. He has been sick the last couple days. And today, played the first couple snaps, had a big sack on the first Blue Jays possession. I believe the first Blue Jays play. But since then, we haven't really seen any of Felix Anudike out on the field. One of the Tigers' big blockbuster players.
An interesting player so far has been cornerback Jackson Fry. He's made several crucial stops, including what would have been a 20-plus yard reception for the Jays blocked by Jackson. It's his first year starting on varsity, and he's done a pretty good job.
He has filled the shoes quite well, playing the majority of the left side of the field as a cornerback for the Tigers. The Blue Jays offense, other than their play in which they scored a touchdown, which was a big breakaway, hasn't been too strong. The Tigers defense hasn't looked too sluggish. They just seem to lose their place and forced a fumble on the play the Blue Jays did score on, but weren't able to pounce on it before the Jays, and that's why we are sitting at a 7-0 ball game so far.
It's especially hard when you're the defense, when your offense keeps 3 and outing, to be able to get into a rhythm and get off the field, catch a break, and I believe that's why the defense let up 1 touchdown, and in all reality, for the time they've been on the field, is actually quite exceptional, hold the Jays only 7 points.
Yeah, and you said it, the Tigers offense, it's not that they've done a bad job, they just haven't been able to produce whenever they've had big scoring opportunities. We saw late in the first half the Tigers unable to score a touchdown whenever they were in scoring position. They ended up going for it on a 4th down, just a little bit out of field goal range for the Tigers. And once again, that's a big part of the Tigers not being able to put any points up on the board so far. We've seen a couple turnovers from Darius Pearsall, the Tigers' QB number 1, the second man at the helm, second or third since big blockbuster Drew Locke, has left Lee Summit High School for Missouri and later on the Broncos. But the name Locke hasn't left the team. Tommy Locke, a backup quarterback for the Tigers, Drew Locke's cousin, keeping the name in the family here.
Darius Pearsall, committed to Missouri State, might want to fill the shoes of Dalton Hill, who's going to be a senior there, graduated from Lee Summit High School back in 2017. So keeping it in the family, Pearsall definitely going to have to step up his game, and hopefully he'll be able to learn from Hill with his first year and his freshman year in college at Missouri State.
This Tigers team has a little bit of a reset here. Hopefully the loud crowd will get behind them The Lee Summit Tigers student section, always a big staple of their home games and even the away games. So we'll see if they are able to have any impact here in the second half. 30 seconds before we resume play. Blue Jays will be kicking off to Lee Summit, who will have a chance at redemption after not putting any points up on the board in the first half.
We might see a big punt return from Landon Willis, who had several big ones last year. If he can get the Tigers in good field goal position, that would be nice. Maybe a big run to the 50-yard line.
Well, the cheers you're hearing are from the Liberty Blue Jays student section. Getting into it here as the clock hits 0 and the teams get ready to take the field for the second half. Lee Summit runs out, and they will be joined by the competing Liberty Blue Jays here shortly.
You know, I know we're a football field away from the Lee Summit High School student section, but to be quite honest with you, it's been very quiet on their side of the field. Not a lot of cheers coming from their side. However, Liberty, in our ear, all game, definitely the momentum on their side.
You're not wrong. It has not had that typical Lee Summit High School football Friday nights feel to it. The Jays will go ahead and line up the kick at the 40-yard line. A little untraditional there on the left hash. We'll see for the Blue Jays, kicking it away, Caden Rott-Jacob. And referees will blow the whistle here. Stopping play, but giving the go-ahead. So once again, Blue Jays kicker Rott-Jacob will line up to kick it again. The kick, very short, and it'll go out of bounds. Penalty flag down. Kick goes out of bounds, so the Tigers will have a little boost here to their first second half possession.
Definitely not the best kick for Rott-Jacob this game.
So the Tigers will get to start things off here at the 35-yard line thanks to the penalty by the Blue Jays. Fresh 12 minutes set up on the clock. Lee Summit looks to strike back after the sluggish slow start. Darius Pearsall in the backfield with Micah Manning. Manning sets up behind him. Pearsall standing 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Jacob Moracek in motion before the snap. Now Nate Morris as well comes over to the right side of the field to join him. Handoff is going to be a play fake. Pearsall taking it himself. Stiff arms one. Tries to stay in bounds, but he won't get much out of the play as it looks like he might have lost yards there. Nope, a pickup of 1. He's going to have about a 2nd and 8. Correction, 2nd and 10. Pearsall forced out right at about the line of scrimmage, so they'll restart now from the right hash. Handoff goes to Micah Manning, goes on the left side, trying to get a little work here on the outside, and he's going to do so. Big time carry for the Tigers running back there. Big time track star for the Tigers. 2nd in the 200 meters at state last year, so a speedy backfield presence.
Their sweet jets seem to be the best run working them so far this game.
Pearsall, the lone man in the backfield. Manning in motion. He's going to come stand behind him now. The snap. Pearsall fakes a handoff, not very well, and now he's going to have to run. A little miscommunication for the Tigers. And the improvisation, while not what was wanted by the Tigers, obviously, isn't the worst play that they've run in a while.
The Tigers bench seemed to be looking for a late hit on the Jays. They didn't get it, though, and Pearsall suffered a hit that shouldn't have been necessary. Still 4th down, though. Looks like they're going to punt the ball away.
4th down and 4, ball on the Liberty Blue Jays 39. So the Tigers' multi-tool weapon, Kaya Tupino, will set up at about the 30-yard line, getting ready to punt it away. It'll be the Liberty Blue Jays halfback. It'll be Wedrick Williams III, ready to receive. And a fair catch signaled at about the 24-yard line. So not awful field position for the Blue Jays as they look to set up shop here.
Tapino's punts have been going pretty far all tonight. Don't think you can play with that if you're the Tigers.
The goalkeeper for the Lee Summit Tigers soccer team. Football is his #1 priority, though. That's why he's here tonight. And that's where he gets that big boot from. We'll see Luke Smith go to work here. Wintrick Williams III will get the handoff. He tries to go up the middle there and will be wrapped up right at about the line of scrimmage.
Haven't really been able to do anything up the gut for the Jays. The Tigers' defensive line fairly stacked with a lot of big guys, and the Jays don't seem to have a lot of success there. Wouldn't be surprised if the next play was going to be a run out or a pass.
Kai Tapinu there on the tackle. We've mentioned it before. He plays just about any position the Tigers need him to. Here set up as a linebacker and gets the tackle there on that last play. So it'll be 2nd and 10. The Blue Jays will try again at the 25-yard line. Back's pinned against the wall here. Play fake, a lot of pressure. The throw goes over to the left-hand side. It'll be dropped by the Blue Jays.
Felix Anudike finally gets in the game and looks like he's going to have a late hit personal foul for roughing the passer. It's tough to see as he almost had the sack there. Good to see, though, he's back in the game. That is a positive for the Tigers.
Anudike, the big story for the Tigers, potentially their best defensive player, a future D1 football star in many students' eyes here at Lee Summit. Back on the field here. And he's back on the field once again.
He had the most tackles and the most sacks last year. Picked up 1 tonight. We'll see if he can get another one on this drive. Would be nice. Definitely put them in the backfield.
You'll see him there, the big number 8 on the defensive line for the Tigers. Switching sides there with Max Wisner, the Lee Summit Tigers center for the basketball team. So once again, we'll see Luke Smith and Wintrick Williams III in the backfield. Handoff goes to Williams. He'll bust it up the gut there. He's going to get about a 3 or 4 yard gain before he's finally wrestled down. He kept on chugging in there. Tackle by Tyler Terrence in his senior year. Several tackles for him so far. Not the first or the last time that you will have heard his name tonight. Wintrick Williams there able to move the ball up to the 44-yard line. 10:20 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Smith's going to go ahead and run an option up the middle. And he gets several yards once more for the Blue Jays. So, Kaya Tupino with the tackle there. 3rd and 4, ball on the 48 now for the Blue Jays. 9:50 to go. This hill is not impossible to climb for the Lee Summit Tigers, who have a potent offense. The problem has been these long defensive stretches for the Tigers, in which the Blue Jays offense has just been able to drag on the play clock for what seems like a really long time. Wintrick Williams going to run up the middle there. He'll have plenty for the first down. And the chains will move now for the Blue Jays. So the Tigers unable to stop the run. 1st and 10 for the Blue Jays now. They'll go ahead and spot the ball at the 48-yard line. That's the Tigers' 48.
Haven't seen much passing from the Blue Jays, Jordan. Do you think we're going to see that in the upcoming plays?
You know, I honestly can't say, because so far the run game has been working. We've seen Williams III, as a pass play is called, have a big game. They're going to target Jackson Fry, and he gets beat, and a huge touchdown for the Blue Jays now. That one's caught in stride. An excellent pass there from Luke Smith leads to a Blue Jays touchdown. And this Blue Jays student section goes nuts. 13-0 Liberty.
Just as we were talking about how Jackson was having a pretty good opening in his first starting game, he makes a mistake there, just got beat, and getting beat off the start will produce stuff like that. Quarterbacks crucial position and wasn't able to execute there, which is going to be yep, TAT is good. So 7 points for the Jays. They go up 14-0 in the third quarter.
Another early score here in the second half. We saw a first quarter touchdown out of Liberty. Their offense went stagnant then on after the first score of the ball game. But they've shown a little sign of life here as the Tigers now are down 14-0. Big time pass for Luke Smith there. Hits his man in stride. Blue Jays go up 14-0 on the Quentin Hudson reception.
A great pass, though. You don't usually see that out of high school quarterbacks, but he caught him in stride and everything, had the arm strength to do it. That was impressive, to say the least.
That's great play recognition there by Luke Smith as he sees Jackson Fry gets beat on the outhand side. And once again, we'll see the special teams from both sides come out onto the field. I was talking about it before the game. Liberty, we figured they'd come out hungry here after getting a bad taste in their mouth left by the Tigers last year, who came and beat them in their house. And we have seen a very hungry Liberty Blue Jays squad tonight, as they've been able to put 14 points up on the board that have been unanswered by the Lee Summit High School Tigers.
Not saying a comeback isn't possible. They definitely scored 25 in the fourth quarter last year, so anything is possible at this point, but Tigers, by not scoring early on, are definitely putting themselves in a harder and harder position to come back as we get later into the game already, 3 minutes into the third.
So we'll see Caden Rutt-Jacob once again out for the Blue Jays. Kick is up in the air, sort of a squib-style kick. It's going to be fielded by Nate Morse, who runs it up the middle. He's got a lot of space on the outhand side. Ball came loose. This Blue Jays fan base is going nuts, but they're going to say it is returned by the Tigers.
I'll tell you this, if Nate Morse doesn't get tripped up there, he's taking that to the house. He's so fast. He already had everyone beat except for the two. Just getting tripped up there. It's a little unfortunate.
And that's something that we've seen from Nate Morse in the past. Very quick, very hard to tackle, but when he gets hit, he can be prone to the fumble at times. So if you're the Tigers, you hope to see that error fixed in the future. Handoff goes to Micah Manning, who's going to run on the right-hand side. He's going to come all the way up to the 50. He's still going. And the track star, Micah Manning, is going to get all the way past the 40-yard line. Darius Pearsall waving for a hurry up here. The Tigers want to keep this momentum. 8:45 on the clock. They look to answer back quickly here after the Liberty Blue Jays touchdown. So a big change of events from when we thought the Tigers fumbled and lost it to now a big play. Pass there goes to tight end Landon Shepard. So another little chunky yards from the Tigers. And once again, they'll go to that hurry-up style offense here, 1st and 6 on the 35-yard line. Pearsall in the backfield is going to throw it downfield. It's going to be caught by Nate Morse, who dives. He'll be up at about the 37-yard line. So the Tigers look hungry here.
This is exactly what you see coming out of the first half, not really getting any passing game, relying on the rushing game a lot more than you should, but with all these weapons on offense, especially within the passing field, I'm glad to see they're taking advantage of. And Trent fell with a great block to allow Micah Manning to get the 20-plus yard gain he had there 3 plays ago.
Pearsall in the backfield feels a little pressure. He's going to roll out to the left-hand side. A scramble. He's going to cut inside, and he's going to have another huge gain. Loud crowd going insane here as Lee Summit Tigers offense has woken up in the second half. So the ball now inside the red zone. The Tigers look very dangerous. Looked like maybe a screen pass was being set up by the Tigers, but it broke down, so Pearsall able to scramble. Darius, a very athletic quarterback, not necessarily a run-first quarterback, but he's got it in his bag if he needs it. So an offsetting penalty. And that means the chains will move forward again for the Tigers. So a little confusion on the ball marker side of things, but the ball will move upfield. Ball on the 13. Referees will wave off the play. 2nd and 3. Ball on the 13. 7:58 left in the third quarter. 14-0 Jays. Loud crowd still buzzing after the last 2 plays for the Tigers. So once again, Tigers will set it up again. Handoff goes to Kaya Tupino up the middle, who will be brought down very quickly. That play has not been successful all night for the Tigers, no matter the running back.
About 3.
So now 3rd down and 2. Ball on the 12-yard line. Still 14-0 Jays. Clock running down to about 7:30. Pearsall, the lone man in the backfield. The snap, Max Weisner in motion. Pearsall is going to run to the left-hand side, and the option will be cut out by the Blue Jays. A big-time sack.
Good job at just setting the edge there. Like it was a designed run.
That'll be 25, Nate Berry on the sack. Defensive end and tight end in his senior year for the Liberty Blue Jays.
Down for a loss.
Jonah Dittmer did not block that well. Jays were able to swim right past him and get the sack, which they desperately needed.
They will keep Pearsall on the field. So they look to go for it here. 4th down and 9, very risky, as they haven't put any points up on the board, but they're willing to go for it. Pearsall is going to run out to the right-hand side, throws the ball, and misses his target. So an inaccurate pass there to Nate Morse results in 1st and 10 for the Blue Jays. So the Tigers there unable to convert once again inside the red zone. And a little bit worrying for this Tiger offense, not able to put any points up on the board. We've got 6:37 left in the 3rd quarter.
Darius Pearsall kind of motioned to his receiver after the play, clearly frustrated to be able to move the ball down so quickly, so fastly, and then to stutter out there and not have any points on the ball on the scoreboard to show for it. It's taken a toll on him, as it would anyone.
We got spirit chant coming from the LSHS loud crowd, and boy, do they ever. In a game that's been very frustrating from the Lee Summit Tigers' perspective, they still keep yelling, screaming, trying to will their team forward, as now the defense will set up shop for the Tigers, looking to lock down this Liberty offense. But Luke Smith, after his last drive, threw a stripe in stride to Quentin Hudson for a big-time Blue Jays touchdown, their first one of the half. Snap, and the handoff goes to Williams III, and he will finally be wrapped up there at about the yard of scrimmage. And we've talked about it before. Big story, Felix Anudike absent for most of the first half. So now the Tigers facing a 2nd and 9. Luke Smith once again in the backfield, going to hand it off to Williams III. Pushes on the right-hand side and is brought down. 3-yard gain for the Blue Jays. It's going to be Max Weisner with the tackle. So the Tigers now trying to stop the pass. That's going to be caught by Liberty Blue Jays number 18, Michael Book, the 6'4" senior for Liberty. If you're just tuning in, I'm Jordan Wood, joined by Kyle Cumberland in the broadcast booth. 5:14 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Jackson Fry just got taken out of the game after allowing 2 big plays. One, which is going to keep this drive alive. 1st and 10 for the Blue Jays.
Caleb Manning, the junior, his replacement. You'll see him on the right-hand side of your screen. The snap, and it's going to be a screen pass on the right-hand side. Now Caleb Manning with the tackle. The pass there caught by Michael Book once more. So add a couple more yards to his total. Jackson Fry's replacement there blocked successfully, but still able to come up with the tackle, so having an immediate impact. getting some varsity minutes.
A really good job of mixing it up.
So Luke Campbell
First down, they're not.
and Wintrick Williams III look over to their side.
Doing a good job of spreading the field, keeping the Lee Summit Tigers on their heels.
And they'll set up in the I formation here. Man in motion, snap, gonna go to Williams III. He's gonna run it up the middle, and another big first down for the Blue Jays, who will keep the chains moving. Ball just short of the 50-yard line.
What seemed to be a strong point for the Tigers in the first half was their defensive line not really allowing any big rush plays. They seemed to turn to a weak point. They've been allowing multiple first downs in this drive alone. Off runs up, they got in big plays as well. Hopefully they can regain some of the first back swagger back, as they seem to just have lost hope out there on the field.
We've talked about the Tiger defensive line earlier. Felix Anudike, the biggest part of that defensive line, has been absent for most of this game and is absent once again after a couple of snaps earlier. Wintrick Williams III on the carry again, brought down by A.J. Mortina. Oh, sorry, Kaya Tupino with the tackle.
That guy messes in. This is the guy who yards after contact is something that definitely picking him up left and right. Pretty much every single run he's hitting the line of scrimmage and does a good job of falling forward.
3:50 to go in the third quarter. Blue Jays offense is marching here. 2nd and 7, ball on the 50-yard line.
Hat on a hat.
So once again, Luke Smith looks to the air. Manning got beat, but luckily the ball is overthrown to the intended target, Michael Book. He has been their favorite guy since the possession has started here for the Blue Jays. Targeted several times, this time incomplete.
Pressure kind of forced him to get rid of that ball a little bit early. Another third down here. This Lee Summit defense can't get a stop. Get the ball back in
So
their
the Tigers really needing a stop here. Still scoreless. The Blue Jays offense scoring 14 unanswered points. Luke Smith once again under the gun. Handoff goes to Williams III. He's going to run to the right-hand side, and he breaks free, but finally tackled by safety Landon Willis. So a huge run there. Williams III continues his impressive showing. He'll be running off the field after that one, getting a much-needed break. Landon Willis comes in clutch, though, for the Tigers, not allowing the touchdown.
That's the third down conversion they've had this drive alone. All of them running plays, most of them.
So the Tigers here, backs against the wall a little bit on the 29-yard line. Luke Smith once again under the gun. We've got Williams III in the backfield. Handoff once again, or not Williams III. Handoff there goes to A.J. Moratina. 5'10" running back, junior year for him. And when filling in for Williams III, he's doing a great job so far. So the Blue Jays move the ball up a little bit further. 2nd and 7, ball on the 26, correction. So we'll see Michael Quigley run out onto the field. Sets up behind 2 wideouts to the right-hand side. A little bit of motion. Williams III and Quigley will come into the backfield. More motion from Quigley. The snap to Smith. Hands it off to Williams, who goes up the middle. And once again, the Tigers are defending within their own red zone. So the run game has been huge for the Blue Jays thus far, and it'll continue to be that way until the Tigers make some sort of change. We've spoken before about the losses on their defensive end, but somebody's got to step up in the absence of Felix Anudike. So the ball on the 14-yard line. Blue Jays have 1 minute and 55 seconds before the break, before we cut this third quarter off and go into the fourth. Smith once again in the backfield. He's going to hand it off, run up the middle, and the Tigers just being targeted on the offensive end by that run game of the Blue Jays. It has been crucial.
back out there, so it's fresh.
So a little more personnel change from the Tigers' defensive side of things. 2nd and 6. Ball on the 10-yard line. See Smith here. A man in his backfield. The snap here goes to Williams III. He's going to run to the left-hand side. He's got a man trailing him. Stays on his feet and nearly scores again for the Blue Jays. But the last man, number 19, Alexander Barnett, comes up with a big stop.
Back knows the three-legged dog drill does a good job there, putting that hand on, keeping his feet. Picking up a couple
So you've seen Felix Enudike absent from the defensive line. They are targeting his side heavily. I'm not sure if it's the illness at this point that's keeping him out of play or if it is injury. He has been absent for the majority of this game.
If you're the Tigers, you really hope it's not injury because Felix is such a crucial part to your team. It's going to be a handoff. Stuffed in the back, though, by number 53.
Tyler Terrence. As we said earlier, it won't be the last time you hear his name. Senior year for Terrence, the 5'11" middle linebacker, having a huge impact so far in the third quarter.
Jordan, you said earlier someone had to step up, and that's what you needed if you were the Tigers. It's the third down, and you finally were able to force a fourth. That's really successful. Well done by Terrence.
Unfortunately, though, for the Tigers, not looking likely that the Blue Jays won't score here. It's not necessarily a gimme chip shot field goal, but it is still one that's makeable for this Blue Jays kicker. So we'll see now. Maybe the Tigers can hope for a blocked kick or hope that they go for it and are able to stop them.
Juwan Miller on the side does have a lot of speed. If he could get around his defender and get a block, that would definitely shift the momentum to the Tigers. As we speak, the loud crowd is chanting, "Do it, do it." Hopefully that's what the Tigers intend to do.
So we've mentioned before the spirit that this Tigers loud crowd has, and they've kept that spirit up despite the 14-0 score. Ball's going to be on the 9-yard line. Fourth quarter here just getting underway. If you're joining us, I'm Jordan Wood, Kyle Cumberland, my color commentator alongside me. 3 timeouts left on both sides, so neither team in danger of losing those areas. 26-yard kick for the Blue Jays. It's up, and it is good. So the Blue Jays up 17-0 now, and the hill for the Tigers to climb gets even larger.
I think that could have been 30 yards longer, and he still would have done it and had a lot of boot, and it was straight down the middle. Great kick by the Blue Jays.
That's something that's been not necessarily absent from the Tigers, but a reliable kicker at the high school level for any team is always tough to find. It seems like the Blue Jays have been able to find that with Ethan Brown, who's been their kicker to this point. So once again, we'll see the special teams come out onto the field. 11:57 for the Tigers to mount a 17-point comeback.
Nate Morris last time almost had a touchdown off the kick return. Hopefully he can try and do something similar again, as he will be in the backfield looking to receive the kickoff. It was a little bit of a squib last time. Kicker's been fairly inconsistent on whether he can get it all the way down there, but if he does, Nate Morris in the backfield's got some speed. He's very hungry to score the first points for the Tigers this game.
That could also be by design for senior Caden Rott Jacob. Bit of a mouthful there. He's going to line up and kick it once more. Waiting to receive it, Nate Morris grabs it at about his own 5-yard line. It goes through his hands. He's going to run it up the left-hand side, and he's going to have nowhere to go. Brought down at about the 10-yard line. So as if things couldn't get even harder for the Tigers, they'll have to march 90 yards downfield if they want to put 6 points up on the board.
This is where great moments are made, though. You have a long drive ahead of you. It's the start of the fourth quarter. Morale is low. They scored 25 last year to give them a 41-18 victory. And
Something we have seen from the Tigers in big games is they do seem to come up with big plays when they need them. So we'll see what Darius Pearsall has in store for the Lee Summit High School Tigers. He's going to start it off with a handoff. Manning on the right-hand side. He's got a ton of space on that side. If he gets past the last man, he does, but he runs out of bounds.
Micah Manning with the carry. Michael Book forced him out of bounds.
So the Tigers with a 2nd and 1 now, as they'll start off here on the 19-yard line. Snap, ball goes over to the left-hand side with Morse.
Nate Morris with the carry. Tackled by number 28, John Davis.
that's going to move the chains for the Tigers.
Summit Tiger.
And you'll hear it there. Loud crowd, maybe a little bit out of this game. 17-point margin in between these two teams. Pass incomplete there. And the Tigers' offense looks a little deflated despite the first down here. Ball on the 22-yard line. They've still got 11 minutes and 30 seconds left in this one. But 17 points is a lot. And when the defense has struggled like they have in this second half, it's a long hill to climb up if you're the Lee Summit Tigers. Darius Pearsall, the lone man in the backfield once again. He's going to look to pass. A lot of pressure on him. He's going to roll out to his right-hand side. Throws it downfield. It's going to be caught. The Tigers, Landon Shepard there with about a 5-yard gain.
The other play, he turned around his head too quick, made sure to maintain eye contact with the ball up until he caught it. Which is going to produce a 3rd down with 3 yards to go for the Tigers.
So the snap, the run goes to Tapino up the middle. And the Tigers will move the chains once more. So a little bit of life out of this offense. And we'll see if they are able to keep it going here, maybe put some points up on the board finally in this 4th quarter.
We've seen this. It's a familiar story. You get the ball moving, a couple first down, the momentum gets back, but as soon as you do that, the Tigers seem to sputter out. Hopefully they won't do that here. I'd like to see a bit more passing. Ryan Bell still has yet to get into this game. We'll see if that changes in the future.
So we'll see if the Tigers here are, and a low snap there is going to result in Pearsall getting snapped in the backfield. I was getting ready to say we'll see if the Tigers are able to get that big momentum boosting play that they need, and it doesn't look like they will. A little bit of life given to this Blue Jays defense. And another break for Liberty as they'll be looking at 2nd and 13. So the Tigers set up with 2 men in the backfield. It's going to be the classic duo of Pearsall and Manning. Manning, the speedy track star. Another low snap. Pearsall throws it over to the right-hand side. And it's a great catch made over there on the right-hand side by Nate Morse. So a little bit of improvisation as another low snap, the 2nd one in a row, causes trouble for this Tigers offense, but they're able to bounce back from it.
Isn't the first time Darius has had to use a little bit magic to get some yards on plays that, to be honest, should have been
Throw
losses.
from Pearsall downfield, caught by Nate Morse. Did he stay in bounds? The referee will say no. I thought maybe he got a foot in there, but it's going to be 4th and 4 at the Tigers' own 46. 42, pardon. 9:46 to go here in this 4th quarter. Tigers again still pointless through this point in the game. Down 17-0 to the Blue Jays. Snap to Pearsall. He's going to run it up the middle, and he's going to get the 1st down and then some. Looks like he bobbled the ball a little bit, but he keeps it. He'll get past the 50-yard line, and this Tigers offense will stay alive.
That's just Darius stepping up to the plate, making a big play when he had to. He saw a gap, he took it. He's a runner as well as a passer. He did great.
So the Tigers once again will target Landon Shepard over the middle, a play that's worked a couple of times for them so far. So number 10, Landon Shepard, able to get the Tigers a little more yard. Pearsall, the lone man in the backfield, again with that hurry-up style offense. Don't blink, or you might miss the next play anytime a play finishes. Pearsall rolling out to his right with a little bit of pressure. Heaves it downfield. It's going to be, it's incomplete downfield. Ryan Belt there targeted. Big story for the Tigers as he had a rough offseason. He's targeted there, big time play. Pearsall facing a little bit of pressure. And Belt just unable to hang on there. He catches that ball, it's gonna be a touchdown, but he just drops it. Handoff here goes to Kaya Tupino. Flag is down. Tupino runs it on the right-hand side. It'll be a first down, but again, flags down. Away from the action here. Potentially an illegal substitution might be what we're looking at, as it was a little bit after the snap there. 8:58 to go here. Ball on the Blue Jays 40-yard line. Fourth quarter, Tigers down 17-0. Big story for the Tigers defense has been the absence of Felix Anudike. This Tigers offense doing its best to put points on the board, but they're unable to. It's going to be an illegal substitution on the Liberty Blue Jays, so the Tigers will catch a break there despite getting the first down anyways. And the Tigers now have the ball up on the 29-yard line. So Pearsall and Tupino in the backfield. Pearsall is going to look over to his left, throw it over to the right. It's going to be caught and immediately a tackle from the Blue Jays. And the ball came out. We'll see what the referees call it. And an injury on the field. Shaken up on the play. Number 13, Amari Kemp, his senior year. A lively personality for this Tigers offense. Comes into the game, makes a catch, and immediately injured. You hate to see that, so hopefully he's all right. This Tigers offense keeps on marching. Snap to Pearsall, throws over the right-hand side. It's going to be caught. A flag on the play as Micah Manning catches the ball. They're going to call it incomplete. So a flag thrown just after Manning was unable to hang on. They're going to call it pass interference against the Blue Jays. So the Tigers once again catching a break here.
You know, if you're the Tigers, you want to play a fast style, pace of offense. These penalties are getting in the way of that, but at least you're being able to move the ball down the field. It's really keeping this drive alive, and it's the break that the Tigers needed.
That's true, and we've seen this Tigers offense. They've been very resilient to going down here. They just don't have points on the board to show for it. It will be Pearsall and Tupino in the backfield. Snap, and the handoff goes to Tupino, who runs it on the outside. He's got space, but he'll be brought down just before the goal line there.
Pearsall doing an excellent job. He's getting a lot of high snaps, low snaps, and everything in between, but he's able to recover on almost all of them and make something happen.
Starting to hear a little bit noise from the Tiger Loud crowd now as the Tigers knock on the goal line door here. The snap and the handoff goes to Tupino. He's going to run it up the middle again. Did he get it? They are going to wave the play off. I'm not sure if he got in there. Looks like he didn't, but it's going to be a first down for the Tigers. First and goal now for the Tigers. The first time we've been able to say that sentence tonight. Pearsall hands it off to Tupino, runs it up the middle. Tigers think he got it, and he did. Touchdown, Tigers. So Kaya Tupino puts 6 points up on the board for the Tigers, and the cannons boom as the Tigers offense finally able to put some points on the board. So Kaya Tupino ends the Tigers' scoreless run so far through this game. Potentially too little, too late, but with 7:26 left, they look to try to add a little bit more to what they've got here, as it looks like they're going to go for 2. Nope. They are going to kick it. Kicker going to be Jacob Moracek. The snap. The kick is blocked by the Blue Jays.
Moracek looked a little slow as he kicked there. He was just kind of waiting for it to happen, and as it got set up, the Blue Jays were already there waiting to stop the potential 1 point.
So another unlucky break for the Tigers, as they'll only put 6 on the board. So even whenever they do something right, it seems like something just doesn't go their way, and Moracek's kick is blocked. So it'll be 17-6 Blue Jays as they'll get the ball back here.
The Tigers kept the defense on the field for a little under 6 minutes there. If the defense can get a quick 3 stops, and defense is going to be forced to go out. They already looked a little tired there. Tigers offense love to play that fast style of play, and it has worked out thus far.
Well, we're starting to hear a little bit more life even now from this Tigers loud crowd and from the rest of the student section of Lee Summit as they're trying to will their team on here, hoping to see victory out of the Lee Summit High School Tigers. The kicker here will be, looks like Bryce McKeon. We'll go ahead and set up for it. 2 receivers back for the Blue Jays. McKeon sets up, boots it down. Oh, no, it'll be an onside kick. And the Tigers will not recover. Looks like it's picked up there by Javion Byers. Correction, Quentin Hudson there able to pick it up. So that's a big-time play for the Tigers. An incredible onside kick, but unfortunately the Tigers unable to capitalize. So not a bad play call there. It nearly works, but just great hands there from Quentin Hudson. So the Blue Jays offense goes back to work here. Man under snap, Luke Smith. He's going to hand it off, but the run won't amount to anything as it's blocked up at the line of scrimmage. Looks like maybe LaJuan Miller there on the tackle.
Both teams have their 3 timeouts left, and that's going to be important for the Tigers as they get down. Blue Jays just trying to take time off the clock at this point.
Clock management, very important late in games like this, especially when you're the team that's trailing. You've got to make every second count here. And that's where we're going to see from both sides here as the Blue Jays try to hang on to their lead and the Tigers try to gain theirs. So Luke Smith in the shotgun. Man back with him is Williams III. The snap, and Williams III is going to run up the middle. He's going to evade several tackles, and he'll get about a 9-yard gain there. So it looks like it'll be 3rd and 1 at the 49. So a big-time run there by Wintrick Williams III. So now this is a huge play in this game. If the Tigers are able to make a stop, potentially the Blue Jays kick it away, and then your offense gets another chance if you're Lee Summit. If that doesn't happen, well, it looks a little bleak for the Tigers. Luke Smith in the backfield, awaiting the snap. Man back with him will be Moratina. And flag down. It's going to be a false start on the Blue Jays. So a break for the Tigers defense, and their hopes for making a comeback here might have gotten a little bit higher as they catch a huge break from this Liberty offense.
That's 3 penalties, 2 on the previous drive to get the Tigers their first touchdown, 1 right there to make it a 3rd and long. These penalties are really keeping the Tigers in the game, and the Blue Jays need to nip them in the bud if they expect to win.
About 5:40 left on the clock as the Tigers look to mount a comeback. Ball on the Tigers, or on the Blue Jays 44-yard line rather. A little bit of motion from Liberty. The snap goes to Smith. The pass is dropped, and had Smith been in the right place there, may be able to come up with a pick, but he's playing a little bit behind his receiver there. Nothing wrong with that as the ball is dropped by Javion Byers.
Good pressure from number
Smith.
6, LaJuan Miller.
LaJuan Miller.
Talked about this for 25 last year in the field, so not out of the element for these guys.
So Luke Smith
Have a big play, maybe a big
taken off the field here as the Blue Jays look to punt. It'll be Ethan Brown in the backfield, ready to receive. Rugby style punt here. Going to go to Landon Willis, who muffs it, and he muffs it again. Ball is loose in the end zone. Touchdown, Blue Jays. Oh my goodness. So Liberty with a huge touchdown late in this game. Michael Quigley able to recover a muffed punt by Landon Willis. 23-6 now, Blue Jays. an absolutely huge play there for the Blue Jays as they catch a massive break in the hopes of the Tigers coming back here with only 5:20 left in the game. Doesn't look great. So the Blue Jays are going to play things smart here, going for the extra point.
Catches out of the backfield.
They've done well on them so far. And we'll see Caden Rutt-Jacob. 5:19 left in this one. Tigers down now 23-6. Opening week here for the Tigers. Home opener.
Coming into the game, the Tigers were ranked 15 by 810 Sports, while the Blue Jays were only 17th, but Blue Jays seem to be fairly superior. 810 even predicted a win for the Tigers, saying their speed would overwhelm the Blue Jays with the fast offense.
And now they're going to wave off the touchdown. I'm not sure the reason for that, but the score now 17-6 Blue Jays. And so the Tigers will catch a break of their own here after the muffed punt by Landon Willis. Never what you want to see if you're the Tigers, but potentially their defense able to capitalize on it here. Oh, no, the offensive unit comes out on the field, so it's Tigers' ball. Maybe saying it's going to be ruled a touchback for the Tigers. So the ball will be on their own 20-yard line, as the screams you hear are from the loud crowd of Lee Summit High School. We're hearing a nervously quiet Blue Jays student section. The snap here, and the handoff goes to Manning to the right side. He's going to have some room, and he's going to get about a 4-yard gain there.
A lot of confusion there, Jordan. I don't know what the refs were calling, but it worked out for the Tigers. Would like to hear the ruling on that.
I believe they called it a touchback, and a little bit of trouble there as the referees signaling for different things. They're going to call a holding on the Tigers, and it'll be 1st and 15 now. So after they get the touchback call, they'll be forced back to their own 15-yard line. Sorry, 10-yard line, rather.
The momentum of the kick was going to force him into the end zone.
So it's Darius Pearsall, the lone man, back for the Tigers. Blue Jays will several men in their backfield here, maybe expecting a pass. Snap, Pearsall rolls back. Now he's going to scramble over to his right-hand side. He's got pressure. He's got a man. It's Nate Morse making a big-time catch, and he's going to cut down that big old first down total that they've got to cover to get the chains moving again. So after the penalty now, ball moved forward. We're looking at 4:50 on the clock for the Tigers. 17-6. Snap, and the pass will go to Landard Shepard. He's got the ball, and he's running down the middle of the field. A ton of momentum is going to bring him to the 40-yard line.
This hurry-up offense seems to be confusing the Jays' defense, as they simply haven't had a response for the last two offensive possessions for the Tigers.
And now we're looking at a rejuvenated offensive team here for the Tigers. Pearsall throws again to Shepard over the middle. He's been targeted several times in the second half, and if it's not broke, don't fix it. And that's exactly what they've looked to do here. Continue targeting Shepard as the ball will be moved to about the 46, 2nd and 4. And as we said, the hurry-up offense again in play here. Snap a little low for Pearsall. He's going to recover. Heave it way downfield. It's Ryan Belt over the middle who redeems himself from earlier. And he's going to get the ball to the 21-yard line. So a huge catch for senior Ryan Belt.
When a big play needs to be made, the seniors have to step up. Darius Pearsall catching that one way to the ground, and Ryan Bell, after dropping one later, receives one right there.
And before the Tigers student section can stop celebrating, it's Pearsall again in the backfield. He's going to fire over to Nate Morse, and the play is going to be broken up once again. Flag is down, and it's going to be called. We'll wait and see. Holding on the offense. So an incomplete pass, and it still results in a loss of yards for the Tigers.
They got to score quickly here. Less than 4 minutes left on the clock. Still got 3 timeouts, though. They need to make quick work of what is a 13-point deficit.
Tigers no strangers to adversity. They've had several penalties called on them here in this first half, or in the second half, rather. Several called this possession. It's going to be a handoff to Tupino. He goes over to the left-hand side, and he's got some yards for the Tigers. It was a 1st and 20. 3:40 left in this game. Tigers' magic number is going to be 2nd and 11. Ball here on the 21-yard line. Handoff goes to Tupino again. He's going to knock somebody over before being knocked over himself. It looked like, man, he just bulldozed somebody at the line of scrimmage there and was brought down himself. 3rd and 10, and 3rd and 9 rather. And as we said earlier, the Tigers seem to pick a play style and stick to it, and we've seen the running game now since they've moved into the Blue Jays side of the field. Snap to Pearsall, fake handoff. He's going to throw it over the middle, and an amazing catch! What a catch by, was that Nate Morse on the catch, running into the end zone, then has to run backwards to make the play there, jumps up and grabs it. And the Tigers now only down 5 points.
That's exactly what you needed to see. A great pass and a great jump by Nate. Quick points, less than 3 minutes left on the clock.
So we saw a miscue on the last Tigers field goal. We'll see if they can fix that error. 17-12, your score. It's going to be a timeout on the Tigers.
Not sure why you would call a timeout there. It's just a point extra attempt. If you don't get it, it's no biggie. And these are timeouts that you could be using to get a future touchdown in this game that would be crucial to win or tie.
Well, maybe head coach Eric Thomas seeing something he doesn't like as they go to line up for that field goal. The last one by Jacob Moracek was blocked by the Blue Jays, which is why you only see 12 points at the moment from the Tigers. So we'll see if they can add one more there and make this a 4-point ball game. In the grand scheme of things for the Tigers, they're looking at about 3 minutes left on the clock. And this extra point here goes a long ways if they want to complete this comeback. All 12 of their points so far coming in the fourth quarter. Darius Pearsall has looked much different than his first half self, and the Tigers offense as a whole has looked much more impressive than from earlier. And it looks like the Tigers may go for 2 here. So indeed, Eric Thomas, head coach of the Tigers, doesn't like what he saw. Pearsall in the backfield. He's going to scramble. He's got pressure on him. Throws it into the end zone, and it is incomplete. So the Tigers' total runs up to only 12.
What was going to be a 23-6 point for the Blue Jays had now turned to a 17-12 point. Still for the Blue Jays, but you can see the Tigers gaining the momentum back. They're definitely a fourth quarter team from what we've seen here.
So had they completed that the 2-point conversion there, rather, the Tigers would be looking at a 17-14 score. But unfortunately for them, incomplete, thanks to some great pressure from Liberty Blue Jays defender Jack Barreca. Correction. So the Tigers out to kick, and we'll see if their defense can come up with a fast stop here. Obviously, the Liberty Blue Jays want to run out as much clock as possible, if not march the ball down the field and score themselves. So we'll see the Tigers getting ready to kick it away. It'll be number 88, Bryce McKeon, sophomore for the Tigers. 2:57 on the clock as the Tigers look to complete the 5-point comeback now. They've whittled it down quite a bit. It's going to be an onside kick, but it's very quickly recovered for the Blue Jays. It's going to be Javion Byers. And a big scrap there right at the 50. And they will indeed wave it over to the Blue Jays side of things.
What would have seemed like an impossible comeback just a few moments ago has now turned into a very realistic change of events. A quick 3-and-out, which is what we had last drive when the Blue Jays were on offense, is going to be exactly what the doctor ordered here.
So we'll see Luke Smith, who's had an impressive game so far, have been shut down his last couple possessions by this Tigers defense. Once again in the backfield here with his trusty side kicks. And he'll be in the I formation here. The snap, the handoff goes to Williams III. He runs it up the middle. And about a 3-yard gain there before being stopped. The classic pairing in the backfield has been Williams III and Luke Smith. Tyler Terrence there, senior, on the tackle for the Tigers. Second down and 8. Ball on the 48-yard line of the Lee Summit Tigers here for the Liberty Blue Jays. It'll be Luke Smith and Wintle Williams III once again in the backfield. Wintrick Williams III. Snap to Smith, the third. Runs it up the right-hand side, and he'll be brought down at the line of scrimmage. Williams III having a great game. Takes a second there to get up, and it looks like maybe shaken up on the play. Feels that left knee, and the Tigers are going to call timeout. So the Blue Jays really want to keep this clock moving. 2:08 left, and they've got the lead here, so obviously they don't want the Tigers getting the ball back. 17-12 your score. Both student sections really getting into the game at this point, especially the loud crowd of the Lee Summit Tigers, as the Tigers have been able to put up 12 points so far here in the fourth quarter. A big-time comeback, and if they can complete it, it'll be a game we talk about for a long time.
Great showing by the Liberty Blue Jays on their loud crowd. They've almost filled up the entire visiting stands that Lee Summit has to offer.
So once again, Lee Summit looks to make a big-time stop. It's going to be 3rd and 8. So far, a great job done by the defense on this stand. They look to continue things here. So 3rd and 8. Luke Smith and Wintrick Williams III in the backfield. Smith, the quarterback, fakes a handoff. He's going to look on the right-hand side. He's got a man downfield, and it's nearly picked off by Landon Willis. They're going to throw a flag. Oh, my goodness. Landon Willis was diving for the ball, and they throw a flag on him. Unless it's a flag on the Liberty offense. And it is. Offensive pass interference. The Lee Summit Tigers side of the field is going crazy. They may just be able to complete this comeback. We've got 2:02 left. It looked there like the Tigers could have picked that ball off, but a little push off there from the Liberty Blue Jays wide out. That play will be declined, so it's going to be 4th and 8.
You want to talk about best case scenarios. This fourth quarter has been a best case scenario. It started off with a 6-minute drive for a touchdown with the Tigers. Then what was thought to be a touchdown for the Blue Jays called back another touchdown for the Tigers. Some couple missed on-field kickoffs, but that's okay.
So the Tigers obviously in the future want to look to get off to a little bit of a quicker start. Once again, the Blue Jays will have to punt it away. It's going to be Landon Willis to receive the rugby-style punt, and he will let it go. And that was not the right call. That was an incredible punt. It's going to be down inside the 5. So if the Tigers want to complete this comeback in the next minute and 48 seconds, they're going to have to do it from their own 1-yard line. If you want drama, folks, this is the place to be. The Lee Summit Tigers looking to complete a 17-point comeback here in the fourth quarter. They put up 12. Can they find the missing pieces to go ahead and finish it off?
if anyone's going to do it, it's definitely going to be Darius Pearsall in this wide receiving core. I mean, Nate Morse has been lights out tonight. Ryan Belt had a missed catch there, but he's able to recover with a great 30-yard play over the field, so I believe in the Tigers.
So the Tigers now 1st and 10 from their own 1-yard line. Darius Pearsall got to feel a little uncomfortable back there with Topino standing inside the end zone. It's going to be a rollout to the right-hand side. He's going to look downfield, and the pass is a little low once again for the Tigers. We talked about Nate Morse being lights out for the Tigers. He's targeted once again, but a little too low for the short, speedy Nate Morse.
Only 5'7", 155 pounds, but he's playing against these big cornerbacks. Impressive to say the least for Nate Morrison is showing tonight.
So once again, Pearsall and Topino in the backfield. Liberty student section coming alive here. Once again, Pearsall rolls out to his right. Topino blocking. He's going to heave it way downfield. Nate Morse caught that ball. That's an incredible play for the Tigers. And a 45-yard gain for Nate Morse. The theme for tonight, heart over height for Nate Morse. An incredible play for the 5'7" junior. Leaps way up over the safety and cornerback for Liberty to come down with an incredible catch. Ball's going to be spotted at the 45. And we'll see if the Tigers can look to move up the field even further. 1:30 left on the clock. Pearsall takes the snap. Looks to pass once again. Rolls out to his right. And he's going to run out of bounds. About a 3-yard gain there. So a good move by Pearsall there to just stop the clock. Nate Morse with an incredible 44-yard catch there. Gives the Tigers even more life. What a crucial catch. These Tigers running out of time, but they'll look to go ahead and capitalize on this big-time comeback. Pearsall in the backfield. The snap. A screenplay was set up. He throws it to Morse. Nearly wrapped up. He's going to try to run forward a little further, but he'll be brought down at about the original line of scrimmage. So it was a screen pass for Landon Willis. Pearsall had other ideas, threw it to Nate Morse. And once again, this Tigers offense sets up in that hurry-up style. Pearsall, the lone man in the backfield in the shotgun. The snap a little wide. He steps back, throws over to the right-hand side. It's going to be Landon Willis bobbling it and then brought down. So it'll be 4th down and 8, for the Tigers. You've got to go for it here. Only 50 seconds left on the clock on this Blue Jays 47-yard line.
This is a play call that's going to determine the match. Everything has led up to this moment with only 57 seconds left. There are 0 timeouts and 0 room left for mistakes for the Tigers.
So what we've seen several times tonight, a recurring theme has been the center for Lee Summit High School. A couple snaps a little low, a couple snaps out to the wide side of Darius Pearsall. That one a little to the left. It may not look like much, but it gives Pearsall a lot less time to react and to try to find a man downfield. And it ends up hurting him there pretty badly. 4th and 8. This is where the Tigers need to step up and have their biggest play of the night. Regardless of what happens after this, they make this play, their win percentage obviously goes up drastically. If you don't get a first down here, the Blue Jays can run out the clock from here on, and the Tigers will be defeated. Jacob Moracek running out on the field there. Snap to Pearsall. He's going to roll out to his left. He's got Moracek downfield, doesn't throw it. He's going to throw it over the right-hand side. It's going to be caught by Landon Shepard. A first down for the Tigers. He's still trying to get yards, and they're going to go ahead and stop the play at the 35-yard line. So with 36 seconds left, the Tigers have a chance to complete the comeback, only down 5 points. A touchdown here puts them in their first lead of the ball game. So once again, Darius Pearsall steps up in the shotgun. And a timeout called. That's going to be the Tigers' final timeout of the game. Oh, that was called by the Blue Jays.
Great block by Kaya Topino to keep that play alive. Darius had all the time in the world. He had to look cross-field, get his feet set. Very few high school quarterbacks can do that. But again, Darius Pearsall is a special D1 talent.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we said earlier, if you want drama, this is the place to be. 29.3 left on the clock. Ball on the 35-yard line of the Liberty Blue Jays. The Tigers look to put up a score here to complete the comeback. They were down 17-0 at one point in this fourth quarter. The offense marches back out 1st and 10. Can they complete the comeback? Can they do it? It's going to be Pearsall and Manning in the backfield. 4 wideouts lined up for the Tigers. Horacek, Morse, Shepard, and Belt. Pearsall scrambling over to his right-hand side. He's going to throw it away.
The line just collapsed there right in the middle. Darius had to be shoved out earlier, and the play kind of collapsed from the start. Disappointing, but time still left on the clock, 24 seconds.
Ryan Belt broke away there on the right-hand side, but Pearsall just unable to have the time to throw it away there. So he's going to throw it out of bounds. 2nd and 10. Ball on the Blue Jays 35. 24.6 showing on the clock. 2nd down and 10 for the Lee Summit Tigers. And they're going to call intentional grounding on the Tigers. Micah Manning, I thought, was on the right-hand side there, close to the ball, but the referee going to go ahead and call intentional grounding on the Tigers. So Darius Pearsall now 2nd and 15 yards rather after the penalty. Steps back, looks downfield, and he's going to be sacked. What a huge play for the Liberty Blue Jays. And a big-time tackle for Matthew Lawson. So Pearsall now lines up. He's at the 50-yard line, scrambles back to his own 45. He's going to have to run. He throws it way downfield into the end zone. It's bobbled. Nate Morse nearly caught it in the end zone, but he's unable to. The Blue Jays storm the field. It's only 3rd down, I believe. Nope, time expires. So an incredible showing for the Tigers as they try to come back from a 17-point deficit. They're unable to. They put up 12 points in the fourth quarter. An incredible hero-like performance for Darius Pearsall. But he's unable to pull it off in the end. Nate Morse nearly caught that ball, diving into the end zone. Unable to hang on.
Nate Morse and Landon Shepard really stepped up. 2 players who I don't think many people out there were expecting to perform as well as they did today. They provided great options for Darius Pearsall, on teams preparing for the Lee Summit Tigers are definitely going to have to game plan against those two, as there are going to be some serious threats in the future.
And a disappointing loss on the first game of the season. An upset for the Blue Jays. And a big-time win as they're able to hold on. Final score 17-12. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Jordan Wood, joined by Kyle Cumberland, representing Tiger Broadcast Television Network. Signing out for TBTV8, I'm Jordan Wood.
And I'm Kyle Cumberland.
We'll see you next time.